What is going on YouTube? Hayden back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as looking at the current coin market cap. And I do have an article to share. We haven't really talked about articles for a couple of months on the channel, but I thought today's one was fairly relevant to the current situation that we're dealing with. Hopefully you guys were aware, but yesterday and today seem to be some pretty crazy stuff happening within the market. Now, not specifically the crypto market, but what I'm talking about is the stock market. As you guys know, hopefully yesterday's video, very interesting in reference to the video I actually put up on my channel just 2 days ago in reference to me buying into my retirement fund and actually starting one of these. It just so happens to be coincidental that the second I buy in, we actually see the stocks fall more than 7%, and it was considered the Dow's worst day since 2008. Absolutely crazy. I also want to talk about the relevance between the massive drop we saw in the stock market and the massive drop we saw in cryptocurrency, where markets were down, close to double digits, 10 to 12%, in just some of them. And then we saw even more or even bigger drops on some of the other cryptocurrencies, down 15 to 20%. And this is absolutely wild. So we are going to be referencing what to do and where the markets are headed right now. There's a couple key target areas that I want to discuss. Whether or not we're going to be heading up higher or correcting down lower is the discussion for today's episode. So if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, and remember to follow me on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial. This way you guys can get hit with all the updates, all the new interesting things going on with the channel, as well as a great way to talk to me. Otherwise, let's jump into today's video. So some quick updates. Huge shout out to everybody subscribing to the channel. We actually just broke 14.1K, and I'm also seeing a ton of views on the massive drop that we had just a couple of days ago. This video was put out yesterday or 2 days ago, and you guys can see that we are actually killing it with over 3,000 views on this video alone. So huge shout out to everybody who is watching this and causing such engagement to the channel. But more specifically, I do just want to jump straight into the technical analysis. As you guys know, the markets are seeing some very interesting moves right now. I do believe that the bottom is in currently for the current markets right now. We have Bitcoin, the other cryptocurrencies are actually up about 2 to 3%, very similar with where the S&P 500 and Dow Jones are. They are actually up 2 to 3% as well. So it's very interesting to see somewhat the correlation between the two. Now, the causation of the market dropping may not be the reason why crypto fell. As we know, the coronavirus, which we'll discuss in a second, is a huge thing that everybody is discussing about. The media is blowing it up, and we're seeing some sort of impact with that potentially affecting the markets, not only crypto, but the stock market as well. So we are seeing the coin start to correct back upwards, or at least seeing the sideways movement consolidation is happening right now. We did see a lot of sideways zero volume trends which pretty much influenced the major break to happen. Now, whether or not this was in reference to the coronavirus or anything of the sort is still up for debate, but we do know that every single time we see sideways movement, which we were seeing within Litecoin and the other cryptos, this is about a week and a half now of sideways movement, it's always referenced with a big break to the downside. This just so happened to happen the same time that the stock market fell. I think it's just a crazy coincidence, but I don't think it has any relation to do with the coronavirus or anything like that. We do know, just based off technical analysis and standard TA, that when we see movements of sideways pricing, we do tend to see big volume come into the market, and it's pretty much exactly what happened. But just to dive into the article right here, we do know that stocks fell more than 7%, and it was the Dow Jones worst day since 2008. I don't really want to go into it that much. I just wanted to reference this article. But as we know, that stocks were actually closed for trading the time they opened. I believe it was yesterday they opened. We got hit with a 7% drop, and then markets were closed for 15 minutes. And as we know, that is a regulated exchange where we see markets being controlled by the government and certain regulations around this so that we don't have some massive drops. I believe after a 7% drop, it is a 15-minute close. If it then reopens and we see a 13% drop total, we will close for 30 minutes. And if we close, I believe, closer to 20% drop, we will be closed for the entire day to reevaluate positions. Now, as we know, that doesn't happen in the cryptocurrency market because this is unregulated. I know we've talked about regulation coming to this, which will be very interesting for certain exchanges, because we know that Robinhood does have certain regulations on their stocks. It doesn't hold true for cryptocurrency, but that is something to think about. Specifically, what are we going to be doing in reference to major moves on the market? So just to jump into the technical analysis, I actually did make a trade just yesterday or last night. It was referenced in yesterday's video where we were talking about the bottom was in and that I am buying in. I actually did pull through with that trade, and I'll just show you guys exactly what I did right here. You can see my trade history. Yeah, let's let that load in real quick. So I actually bought in at around $7,940, or sorry, I bought in at $7,759 with a long opened with a 10 times leverage trade at $1,700 was put in, and I actually longed the market, and we actually consolidated all the way up to 8,100. I had a stop loss opened at 7,500 in case we headed lower, and as we headed back up, I reevaluated my position this morning when we were at 8,100, and I moved my stop loss up all the way to about 7,950. And as you can see, that stop that I had actually fulfilled because we headed lower right after that, and I was able to lock in profits, and I feel pretty good. It was a quick $100. No real issue there. It's a great way to make some quick money, but obviously that trade has now expired, so we do have to reevaluate our positions right now. For those of you that have me on Patreon, I have been updating you guys, and we'll be putting updates out today and tomorrow in reference to better buying opportunities and what we are pretty much looking for as we move forward in the market. Specifically in reference to the fact that we are seeing a lot of uncertainty here. I did just want to show you guys these 3 points that I did put out on the Bitcoin chart right now. So basically something to take notice of is in reference to what appears to be a very strong uptrend. This was discussed in yesterday's video, but I basically used this to pretty much determine the move to the upside. As you guys know, we are currently battling the uptrend and the high-low middle moving average as we did fall below this red band of support, which is currently acting as a resistance. The one thing I wanted to reference, which was on Bitcoin, is when we look at the daily, you guys can see a couple of things here. Notice we've been below this uptrend numerous times in the past. This is twice we've fallen below here. This is now the 3rd time. Notice we do have candles closing below here. This was 2 candles that closed below here. This was 3 candles, if not 4 candles that closed below the uptrend right here. And we're seeing that same exact thing happening right now. The one thing I wanted to reference is, in fact, that right after having multiple days below the uptrend, we ended up shooting up with extreme volume back above support. The same thing happened here. We closed below here numerous days, and we finally got an extreme burst of volume, which shot us back up above the uptrend. That's what I was referencing in my trade yesterday. Now, unfortunately, we have to reevaluate our situation. I would like to give this a couple more days of consolidation, and I do believe if we see the price move back up above the 8,000, I would say conservatively $8,160. Now, this is a low risk trade, or a moderate risk trade, in regards to the fact that I do believe if we can get above our previous 2 wicks, which would hold us up at about $8,200, I will be buying long, expecting to see a recovery to about $8,700. And if we see the reversal and we actually break below our previous wick, which is 75.85, good chance we will short this market as we consolidate down lower, which will be shocking because we are nearing the oversold market right now. Now, in reference to other cryptocurrencies, because as you know, we like to use these to make our trades here on DueDEX. DueDEX is also linked in the description down below if you wanted to sign up and reference trades or actually be able to short a market that is ever falling. It's pretty awesome, so definitely make sure to sign up. There is an affiliate bonus, or sorry, a sign-up bonus linked down below. So something to consider too is the fact that we are kind of stuck in between what appears to be a trend right here. Ton of uncertainty, but we are stuck in this channel. Tons of volume, but tons of uncertainty. And when you look at Ethereum, you can see a couple of things. I think it's Ethereum and XRP. We're starting to see what appears to be reversal candles, a signal of the bottom being in. We are bouncing off of or are strongly holding above the high-low MMA, but the same thing applies to Ethereum and XRP as it does to Bitcoin and Litecoin. If we can break below the 186 support that we have with this high-low MMA, there is an extreme chance we are going to be breaking down lower and expecting to see lower prices in the market. There's a very good chance we'd break through here and head even lower down to our 126 support. So if we break and close a candle below 180, 180, I would say supportive 185. If we break below 185, I would short the market or short Bitcoin specifically on DueDEX as we anticipate a lower move to the downside. On the reversal side, playing the other side, if we break above our resistance of 208, if not 210, good chance we'll blow volume and explode up, retesting previous resistance at 238, 240. So there are two options available for trading, but currently we are just waiting for consolidation to happen. If you guys were specifically interested in the specific trades that I do plan on making for the market, definitely make sure to sign up to my Patreon that is also linked in the description down below. It does help support the channel, and recently we've had an extreme explosion of engagement on Patreon with over, I believe we just hit the 50 Patreon milestone, which is absolutely awesome. We have a goal set of 100, so it's a huge shout out to you guys for signing up. There's a ton of information there, as well as you guys can ask me specific questions you have on the market, and we do like to share, or I do like to share, my specific trades and my specific thoughts as to when to buy in, the amount of leverage, basically everything you would need to know that isn't shared here on the channel. And it is live, and the second I make that decision, it is updated on Patreon, unlike YouTube, which involves making the videos, uploading, exporting, and finalizing everything. It's much quicker on Patreon. Now, to reference and to finalize today's video with XRP, the last coin that we have to discuss, you can see XRP doesn't look bad in reference to all the other cryptos. XRP is actually doing fairly well, up 3.75, one of the highest gainers in the top 10 besides Tezos. You can see that XRP looks to be bouncing off its previous support at 20 cents and looks like it wants to head up higher. The only thing and my concern is I would definitely wait. We've made trades, let's play it conservatively. We just made quite a bit of money off this previous short. Let's let things consolidate out, and if we see any sort of correction back to the upside, we will, obviously enter that trade as we approach the 24-cent resistance at that high-low middle moving average. But the markets are undervalued by the dip, but that's pretty much going to wrap up today's video. Like I said, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, and remember to follow me on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.